ladies and gentlemen. Why is this man drilling into my beautiful oak tree? Why is this man drilling into my beautiful oak tree? Why is this man drilling into my beautiful oak tree?
What he is actually trying to find out if this tree is a hazard or not, and we're measuring the level of decay that might be in the center of this tree.
Whoa. Okay, so we're talking serious business, and let me explain what's going on here. We have two of these certified arborists from Arborwell joining us. You guys look great there. I love the color-coordinated shirts. Neil Woolner and Peter Sortwell are going to talk to us about oaks. You can keep going to see how it's going there.
All right.
I love oak trees. They are truly the old men of the forest, and so many of them are native, and the shapes are beautiful, and they have a lot of personality. And they strike me as the kind of tree that you never have to take care of, except that if you believe that, you are wrong. So explain to us what's happening here and what you're doing.
Sure. It's a resistograph.
A resistograph.
A resistograph. So it's measuring the amount of resistance that a 18-inch syringe-like needle that's being drilled into the tree is encountering as it goes through the tree.
So just to understand, it's like you're pushing this needle through.
Correct.
And then when it hits resistance, it goes up.
It measures. Correct. Right. That's correct.
So what happens if it doesn't find any resistance? That's bad.
Total
right?
cavity, total decay is a straight line across the piece of paper.
Okay.
Here's a great example of one right here, where we hit a straight line.
Oh, so it's and
This
then
is
all of a
outside
sudden
of the tree, and then we got into the center. It was all rotted and decayed, so there's no resistance.
Wow.
You want lots of spikes because the spikes represent the growth rings of the tree. And a large spike represents just before decay. You get a larger spike because that's the wood that's trying to isolate the decay is extra
It's almost
thick
like
there.
a scar.
Correct. And then it dives off. So you don't want flat lines. Just like your heart reading, you know. If you get a flat line, you're in trouble.
So far we haven't found any flat lines in this tree, which really is a beautiful tree.
That's correct.
You can try to pull that.
Sure, I'm going to reverse it out
there. We tend to think of oaks like this as not needing a lot of care, and if they do, just a little pruning. Arborwell specializes in all manner of trees, certified arborists here in the Bay Area. And oaks are an important part of what you do, right?
Oh, they're an important part. We work with oaks all the time, and they always need some care, particularly if they're growing around people, because people tend to upset their natural environment.
This tree is, care to take a guess, gentlemen, as to how old?
150 to 175 years old, I would say.
Wow, this tree's got some serious history, and it's done pretty darn well, in spite of the fact that I've really mostly neglected it. Why is that?
Well, it's in its natural environment. We're in a woods area here. All the leaf litter here is fertilizing the tree naturally. It hasn't been disturbed by too many people about. All of its canopy is intact, and it shades the root system throughout the summer. So it's doing quite well. It's had some disturbances to it, though.
Yeah.
You can see right up in here.
Let's take a look at this. See this cut here? Now, I would have thought that this cut was a good thing because somebody came in and pruned it because there was a limb that was going to fall down. So what's wrong with this?
You would think it was an okay cut, but what they did was they've cut through the branch bark ridge or the tree's natural ability to heal itself. And they've what we call flush cut it. And if you look here, you'll see this decay running all the way down through the tree and a lot of mushrooms growing now with moisture because the cut was bad.
So when you say the cut was bad, as I understand it, these trees have collars, or limbs have collars.
Yes.
And so if you cut too close to the tree, you'll lose that collar.
You've cut the collar off, and you can see, here you see some new growth coming around the tree. That's the bit of collar that was not cut off. All the rest of it, though, was cut off. It was what we call a flush cut. It was too close to the trunk.
So now let us suppose that this had been better done. What would it have looked like?
A good example would be right up here on the tree. Here's a small cut that was made, and you can see it's totally healed over the wound and compartmentalized it is what we call it. So the tree has basically its natural Band-Aid.
So it heals itself.
Correct.
Okay. Now, Neil, I'm looking at these limbs here. This is just a beautiful limb, and it's terribly picturesque, but I do worry that it's going to be rotting because it's got all of this moss growing on it.
Well, no, the moss and the lichens are a natural part of the oak habitat. I mean, native oaks, you know, they're like apartment communities. They hundreds of different types of things living on and around them.
And none of them are paying rent.
None of them are paying rent. But the lichens are an indication of good, clean air, so you're breathing healthy air up here on the hills.
There's a good
There you
thing
see.
to know. Now, a tree like this, and I guess I didn't realize this, but actually they do need fertilization. Or at least it doesn't hurt. It helps them. But you wouldn't want to fertilize it at the tree, is that right? Or at least
not at the trunk. The root systems go all the way out to the canopy of the tree.
So,
some of these roots could go out, 200, 300, 400 feet from the trunk of the tree. And we're only going down 8 to 10 inches because that's where 90% of the root systems are in most trees. And they go laterally. There's no roots going down very deep.
wow.
That's how it holds itself up.
Roots go wherever there's moisture and oxygen.
Mm-hmm. Well, so it's hard to believe that this tree can survive in dry weather because it has such a shallow root system.
Well, the native oaks, that's why they don't like water. That's why the canopy covers their root system. If you see an oak tree in the hills native, you'll see the limbs drop all the way to the ground. And that shades the root system in the summer, and they slow down their reproductive system in the summer. They close down.
Okay. Well, thank you for what really is a fascinating lesson. I've learned a ton about oak trees, which really are such spectacular, beautiful pieces of the Bay Area's furniture, I guess you'd have to say. And if you want to get a sense of just the strength of a tree like this, look at this limb. Step aside here for a second, guys. I just want to show people. This whole limb goes on, and it's basically all held together by this one little joint here. These trees really do symbolize the strength of nature. Still to come, it's lush, it's green, it's soft. What it's not is grass. Also, Buzz will do some propagating right here on our show. Yes, you're watching Henry's Garden.